In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a store on Shopify. I'm going to walk you through step by step for everything that you need to know to get your very first store online and running properly. So there's a lot for us to talk about in this video, and I'm going to break it down into a number of steps that are going to be digestible and easy for you to understand so that you can build your store properly. So just a couple of quick notes before we get deep into this video. First of all, I don't have a course to sell you. You can do all of this for free by watching tutorials like this. Now, I'm also going to leave some notes down below in the description with some timestamps, so you can feel free to skip around as you go through this to find the areas that maybe you need some extra help with when you're building your Shopify store. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to Shopify's website and we're going to claim this special discount that we're going to get by using the link below in the description, which is going to get you 3 days of free Shopify. So you can start building your site and then only $1 a month for the next 3 months so that you can have time to get your store up and running properly without spending much money besides $1 a month for the first 3 months. So if you want to claim that discount, that deal, I will link to it below in the description, or you can go to santrelmedia.com/Shopify. And I do recommend following along in this video so you can kind of build your store as you're watching this video. I find that to be really helpful for people. So let's go ahead and just get into this video now. Let's start off by making sure we are on Shopify's website, and then we're going to create an account, and then it's going to take us into Shopify's dashboard, and I'll show you around on some features and things that you'll want to be aware of. Okay, so I've entered my email, and now I'm just going to create an account to start my free trial. And now I'm entering my card information. Remember, you're getting that 3 months for only $1 per month. So I can go and cancel this 2 months from now, and it's not going to charge me the regular Shopify subscription fee. So I'm going to enter my card in here. And now we're going to choose the plan for our store. I think most people can get away with the basic Shopify plan if you're just starting your business. But for some people who want to have lower fees on like card rates, or they want to do point of sale, there's some things that you're going to want the Grow plan or the Advanced plan. But for most people, the basic plan is going to be the best option. And so this is going to be $1 a month for 3 months and then $39 a month after that. So keep that in mind. Luckily, we have a few months to build this out to see if things are going well, and we can decide if we want to cancel it then. So I'm going to try the basic here. And now I'm just going to share some information about our business. And Shopify is going to ask us a number of questions to try to help us figure out the right type of web page that we're going to have for our Shopify store. You can also skip through this as well. You don't have to answer all of these questions. They're just trying to see if they want to migrate you from like an existing website, but we can skip all of this if we would like. So the way to do this is we can just skip the customized setup, and this is going to take us into our admin page, which is where we're going to be managing everything for our Shopify store. So I want you to feel like you can get nice and accustomed to this homepage here, the admin page. You're going to be spending a lot of time on this over the next few hours or next few days as you build out your online store. Okay, so throughout this tutorial, I am going to walk you through each one of these tabs over here on the left-hand side, and we'll talk about the specifics of them. But what's going to be most important right now is picking your theme and beginning to design your Shopify store. So if we skipped through that last part where they were trying to customize it for us, we're going to have the option to design our store right here. And so you can either type in the type of store that you're looking to create. Like if you are a jewelry business, then you can have Shopify AI generate a page for you. But what I actually really like doing, and I think a lot of people should consider this, is browsing the pre-designed themes. So I'm going to click on this here, and now I'm going to choose a theme for my website. So this is the default one that they already have set up for us. So we could go with it. It's called Horizon. A lot of online stores actually use this. It's very clean, very basic, but a lot of people like it, including myself, for a theme. But you can also scroll down and find some other popular themes that are free that you can utilize. So perhaps we like this one, right? This one's called Savor. This is a free theme that has been created by Shopify that we can utilize. So I do recommend just going through and browsing some of these different themes. You can also visit the theme store, and some of these are going to actually cost money as well. So you can see there's 1,000 paid themes, and usually these are going to be like $300 or $400. You don't have to pay for these. You can use one of the free themes. See, we have 24 different free themes that are available. And so I'm going to choose one here. So let me find one, and I will go with it, and we will begin building out our online store. And after browsing through these different free themes, I actually really like Horizon. I think it's the cleanest for the type of business that I'm going to be starting in this video. And so we're going to actually just stick with Horizon for this tutorial. So once you found your theme though, you can just add a copy of that, and then you can begin to edit it. So we're going to go back up to the home page here. And then anytime we want to go and edit our online store, we just click over on the left-hand side. We click on online store. Okay, so now we can begin to edit it. So I'm clicking on edit here, and we're going to start to modify this. There's a bunch of steps here that we're going to go through. So the first one that I want to do is helping you with editing the big parts of the theme. So like, for example, some of the color scheme or the fonts. I do recommend doing this first because I've seen people build out an entire website and then they try to edit the font at the end and the margins get messed up. It just doesn't look very good. It messes up a lot of things. So I would recommend figuring out your color scheme and your fonts before you spend time adding images and really building out your site in detail. All right, so if we do want to edit our theme settings, on the left-hand side, we see the option for theme settings. And this is where we can begin to upload things like our logo. There's something called a favicon, which is if you see in the upper left corner here, you see how Shopify website, this is called a favicon, this little icon that is on the top of the page. So you want to make that custom for yourself as well, perhaps. Add your logo in there, I would recommend. Just makes it look a little bit more professional. We can modify the colors on our Horizon theme. So we can be very specific on the exact colors that we want for each part of the theme. And then we can also edit the typography, which is going to be the style of text. We have the ability to change the fonts for our headings versus our body text and all these different things that are going to be really useful to go through and browse. Okay, so once again, we're in the theme settings here, and you can start to modify anything that you feel like you would like to change on this site. And once again, I do recommend doing that first before we get into building out some of these more specific things for our online store. All right, so I'm actually going to upload the logo for my online store, and I'm also going to manage the store name and make sure that Shopify knows what our company is called. So I'm editing the store name. It's going to be called Volser, which is going to be like an apparel company, and I'm going to click on save. All right, so I'm going back to my store here, and I'm going to upload my logo and the favicon for our brand. So I'm uploading my logo here, and we can see that it appears right here on the upper left, and this is going to be in our header, which we'll talk about in just a minute here. So I've uploaded the logo. I can change the size of it as well, like if I want it to be larger, right? Or if I want it to be smaller, I can do that very easily by just sliding this for the desktop height and for the mobile height. I'm also going to upload the favicon here, so let me do that now. I'll use the same image. All right, and that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to edit the header, and then we're going to edit the footer. So the header is right here, which is going to have the pages on it, as well as the cart and the potential login or the search bar. It's going to be showing up on pretty much every page. It's very important to work on this. And then also the footer, which is at the bottom here. We'll be linking our socials, maybe kind of like a directory for some of the pages, maybe an FAQ or privacy policy. Those types of things go in the footer. All right, so in order to edit the header and the footer, let's just go back out here and let's click on save as well. Don't forget to do this, it's very important. So in order to edit our header and our footer, we're going to go up to the left here and we're going to click on sections. All right, and so here we have the header So we can click on the announcement bar. This is the first thing up at the top. This is where you can put any type of, like, if you're running a sale or you want to take people to like a new product. This is really useful to have. So we're going to leave it here. So I'm changing some of the wording in our announcement bar for a spring sale where we might be doing, 10% off on our product. And then we can link to that specific page. So I'll show you how to build pages in a minute here. But if we want to link to a specific page, right, we can do that right here by doing it very simply. Okay, so that's the announcement bar. It's going to be pretty useful for a lot of people. You don't have to have it though. If you want to get rid of it, you just hover over it and click on the trash can icon, and that will delete that page or delete that section for anything that you might not like on your website. So now let's go to the header. So I'm going to click back here and we can look at the header. So I'm going to click on that. And so we have right now the home page, the catalog, the contact. We can center these if we think that looks a little bit better, a little bit cleaner perhaps. Now, something else really helpful is going to be this little agent that Shopify has. Okay, so it's right here and you can just ask the agent how to do something. So let's say perhaps we don't know how to add another page here, which is going to be like our blog page. Okay, so if we want to do that, let me just ask it and see what it comes up with. So I just asked it about how do I add the blog page to the header, and it told me we just have to go back out, go to navigation, go to menus, and then we can add it from there. So this is going to be really helpful for you. If you ever get stuck, you can just ask Shopify Sidekick is what it's called, and it will help you do these things. And it will even actually help you to modify your site if you say, you know what, just do it for me, and it can help you with that as well. So it's a really powerful thing to have. So we want to add the blog page there. So I'm going to click on save, and I'm going to go back out to the admin page. So I go to navigation and then menus to add the blog page. So let's go all the way back out. And so then I said, you know what, just take me to the navigation page because maybe you can't find something. And so you can just ask it to do that, and it will take us to the navigation page, which is going to be under actually content. Okay. And so here we can edit the pages that we have. So if we want to add a blog page, we can click on main menu and we can add a menu item, which is going to be called blog. And then we'll link it to the blogs. Okay. And once we have that, we can just click on save. And while we're in here, we might as well work on editing this a bit more. So the footer as well. So we can toggle back and forth between our page. So let me just open up a second one here. So if we want to edit the footer and we want to add different pages to it, we can click on the footer menu and we can add things like an FAQ page perhaps, and we can link to that. So now that we've added the blog page, we can go back to our editor here and we'll see that it has now appeared at the top in the header section. We have the blog. Okay. And so that is how you edit the header. Now let's start to talk about how do we modify things like our images and our products. Okay. So let's start to work on this here. So in order to work on this section, let me click out of here and we can just simply click and hover over these different sections and we can modify them that way. So let's add some images and we can modify this text as well. So let's say we want to change this text to something else. We'll say one of a kind. All right, so let's say that we want to add an image here. All we have to do is we can hover over it, we can click on it, it'll take us to the image, and then we can select an image from our browser or from our computer. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to add a file and I'm going to upload that one there, and let's see how that looks. Sometimes the framing is going to be a little bit off, like as we can see with this one. And if it is, we can just hover over this little section here and click on edit image. And here you'll be able to crop your image if you want to change some of it, like, if you want to make it a little bit better for the formatting, you can do that. We can change it to a 16:9, which should help a little bit, and then just save it and see how it looks. And so, this one's still not really how I want it to be. So I'm going to change it and use a different photo. I think this one looks really good. And so there we have the image. We can add videos as well. And you can also modify the buttons by just clicking on them and then changing the text here. So shop all, I actually like this. I'm going to keep it as is, but we can change more details about the button as well in the theme settings. So if you want the button to maybe you don't want it to be clear, you want it to be blue, or you want it to be black. You can change that under the theme settings, which we talked about a little bit earlier for the specifics of the button. All right, so now what we're going to do is talk about how to add products. This is something you've probably been wondering for a while, and it's very important that we do this properly. So let's look at products here, and this is going to be the design of the products. If we want to actually add products, we're going to have to go back out. So let me save this, and we're going to go back out to the admin page where we now can click on products. And this is where we're going to begin adding each one of the products that we have available, or even if it's out of stock, there's a way to toggle that. So we can import this from a list. If you already have an existing website or like a database somewhere on like Excel, you can import that, or you can just click on add product here. And so let's start off with the first one. And I'm actually having Shopify AI generate a description for me. This will help to, get some better ideas of how you want it to look. So let's say, you know what, I actually really like this, but also just a quick pointer for any type of e-commerce. Having bullet points is going to be really, really helpful for the customer. I recommend spending some time looking at other websites and how they organize their products and the descriptions of their products. Because if you just dump, 5 paragraphs of text onto a product description, people aren't going to really read it. They're going to get confused. They're just going to do something else. So having digestible bullet points, even go on and look at Amazon listings, you'll see bullet points are very important for that product. So let me upload some photos of this product, and you can upload as many photos as you would like, and then filling out the price for our product. So let's say this is going to be $89. I know inflation, maybe these are really nice hoodies, and we can decide, are we going to charge tax? Is this going to be a unit price? You can also, if you click here, you can have the compare at price. So perhaps this hoodie was $109 before, but now it's $89, right? So this is going to show people that it is on sale. And this is a great tactic for selling more products if it's actually on sale. So let's scroll down here. We have inventory, right? So how many of these hoodies do we have? Maybe we have 1,000 of them right now. And now Shopify will automatically help you manage your inventory because if someone buys one, this is going to update as 999, right? Or 998 for every one that gets sold. And when they go out of stock, it will show up that way. You can also, say it's out of stock even when you have some. And you'll also see these features of you can sell even when you are out of stock. So maybe you can make them very quickly and you can have that ability to do that if you want to. Let's not do that for this though. And then we have shipping. So this is a physical product. If you're selling a digital product, you can toggle this off, but this is going to be understanding the product weight. So definitely get a scale and understand how much your product weighs, because this is going to really impact your shipping costs and how much you're going to be charging your customers for shipping as well. So let's say that this is going to be 0.7 pounds. And then we can add some variants here as well, like sizes. That's going to be very important, right? So we can add small, we can add a medium, a large, and a 2XL. Click on done. And you can even change the prices for each one of the different variants of your product if one of them is going to be more expensive. All right, so that is how you are going to list a product. And you're just going to go through, we're going to click on save. And you're going to go through and you're just going to add all of your products in here. It's pretty intuitive on the product side for adding these. This looks pretty good. Obviously, if I was actually launching this as a store, I would add more photos and I would spend a little bit more time on it. But I wanted to show you the basics of adding products, okay? And so now we can go and actually preview it, right? So I can click on preview right here, and this is gonna be our product. It shows up that we have, small, medium, large. The smalls are in stock, and we can buy it now. Here's the description. It's already looking good. I mean, for spending 20 minutes on this website, it's already looking pretty clean. We're definitely making some progress here. So let's go back here to the products. We can just duplicate this. So I'm going to click on duplicate, and I'm going to change the title to perhaps men's t-shirt, right? And I'm going to click on duplicate product, and then I can go in and edit the t-shirt here, I can just delete this photo. I can add my t-shirt photo, and I'm just going to add all of the products right here on the product page. And so this one is active. We can see all of our inventory as well by clicking over here on the left-hand side. So once you add your products, you also might want to categorize these into something called collections. So on the left-hand side, we can click on collections. And this perhaps, maybe we have men's versus women's versus kids, or we have winter, fall, spring, summer, whatever way that you want to organize these different products into. Could even be like clothing versus toys versus something else, right? This is what the collection feature is going to do. It's going to organize our products into different categories. And so let's click on add collection up here. And this could maybe be winter collection, okay? And we can make a description for it. And then I would recommend manually adding your products into this collection one by one. Shopify's AI does have this smart capability to like do it automatically. I haven't done that. I just don't mind doing it manually myself. And then I can add our products in here. So maybe I want to add the shirt and the hoodie, click on add. So those are in there now, and I can click on save. And so now we'll have a link actually that can link specifically to the collections of the winter collection. And I can make different collections for each one of these, right? So I can add a spring collection, and I will add a summer and a fall collection. Okay, so now I have winter, spring, summer, and fall collections, and I can add the relevant products into each one of those. So that's going to be something that I do recommend people looking into. Okay, so now that we've added the ability to have collections, let's go back to our website here. So I'm going to click on home, and I'm going to click on online store, and I'm going to go back to edit theme. And so you can see that now our products are just showing up automatically right here as we add them. So if you add 20 or 30 products, you'll see them pop up here, and you can modify this further by, you can delete ones you don't want to show up here. You can get rid of the entire section if you want to, but they will automatically populate depending on the theme that you've chosen. And then we can even, move them around as well. But I like how this is looking so far. So let's go back here. And so going a little bit more in detail here, if you want to change the design or the layout of your products on your page, we can just click on this section, and then on the left hand side, this is the featured collection that we have. But let's say that spring is coming, we want to feature our spring collection on our home page. We can just toggle it right here and replace it with the spring collection by clicking that. Now I don't have any products listed in the spring collection, so nothing's going to show up here. So I'm just going to go back to the main one, right? But that's how you can do that. Okay, you can also change if you want it to be a grid or a carousel, or if you want it to be an editorial, you can do that as well to modify it. So let's go back to grid because I think that looks the cleanest. We can change the product count. We want maybe 8 of them. Maybe we only want to feature 4 products or 6 products. We can do that very easily. And we can even change the layout of the section, the width of it. We want a full page or not, right? So that is pretty intuitive for that section of our products on our page. Now, let's say perhaps you didn't want any of this and you wanted to just not have your product on the home page. You wanted something else on there. You can just click on the section and you can go and remove it there. I'm not going to do it because I like it here, but that's how you do it. Now, let's say that you also want to add a new section here. In order to do that, all we have to do is click on hover over the plus here, and we can add a section there. And we can browse through the different sections that are available to us. So maybe we want to have our logo or a slideshow or another collection that we might want to put in there or a contact form. We can do all of that by browsing through here. So let's say that I want to add maybe an FAQ. I'll click on there, and now I have an FAQ question that people can ask about return policies and when do I get my order and shipping, all those things, right? And I can just hover over the section here and I can modify all of that very easily. And once again, don't forget, if you have any problems going along with this, you can just use Shopify's AI sidekick assistant to help you with any problems that you might have along the way. Now let's briefly talk about the footer. So right here on the bottom, this is where we can modify the text. So Maybe we don't want it to say powered by Shopify because we want to be cool. So I'm going to just untoggle that there. And we want to change our social links. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. We're just going to add in a link to each one of our social platforms. It's very easy to do that by just copying and pasting them in there. All right, so once we've done that, we're going to click on save, and we're going to go back to the admin here on Shopify because there's a lot of things we have to talk about, right? I've shown you how to add products. I've shown you how to edit the design of your store, but we need to talk about some of these other features that we have that are going to be very important. So let's start off with customers. All right, so let's say that you already have customers. Maybe you have an email list somewhere. You can import that into your dashboard right here in this section. And this is going to help you keep track of people who are buying your products so that you can reach out to them when you have sales or anything along those lines. So that's going to be something that I would recommend looking into. So here we have the marketing page, and this is where you're going to be able to create new campaigns. Maybe you have a big sales event coming up, Black Friday is coming up, and you want to track marketing efforts to see if it's converting, if you're actually getting more customers from your marketing efforts. You can do that inside of this section here. You can still run, Google ads or Facebook ads and connect them into your Shopify store to track everything. We have separate videos on that if you want to learn how to run ads or other marketing strategies. We have lots of videos, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That's what that section is going to be. We have discounts, right? So if you want to make promos or discount codes for anything, you can do that in this section. So here we have content. So if you wanted to add or upload any new files, you could do that right here. If you wanted to modify the menus, right? Remember how we added the blog page? You can do that here. If you want to add blog posts, you can do that inside of the content section as well to create a blog post. Now, on top of this, we also have things like markets. Now, we also have finance here as well, which is going to talk about, the payout balance that we're going to have from Shopify and everything else. But now let's talk about payments, because this is going to be very, very important. So how do you get paid from your customers? What type of payments should you accept? In order to do this, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go down to the settings here. So click on settings in the bottom left corner, and we're going to click on payments. So we have a lot of different ways that we can accept payments. The first thing I would recommend doing is activating Shopify payments. This is going to be one of the best ways because people who have used Shop Pay in the past, it's already going to have their information, so it's easier to check out for most customers. I find it to be a pleasant experience. They do charge some fees, but they're relatively low fees compared to some of the other payment processors. So go ahead and activate Shopify payments. You're going to have to give them some information, some banking information, social security number or an EIN. They have to make sure you're a real person, and all those other things for setting that up. That should be the best payment option for most people. But let's say that you want to accept other forms of payment. We can do that by adding a payment method here. And there's a lot of different ways you can, most types of payment methods you will be able to find on here. So let's say that maybe you want to be able to take Afterpay, right? This is one of those buy now, pay later options. So we can add that, right? You can just click on it and add Afterpay, or maybe you want to be able to accept Dogecoin. You can accept Dogecoin as a form of payment. I don't know if I'd recommend that one, but you can do that if you want to, okay? So that's the payments. That's how you set it up. It's also pretty easy to get Shopify payments set up. And so now I want to show you how to customize shipping and delivery. So this is going to be how much you charge, and then also helping Shopify understand what carrier you are using for shipping products. And so you can decide, where you're shipping. Maybe you only want to ship in the United States, or you only want to ship in Canada. You can decide that right here. And then you can decide which are your preferred carriers. Maybe you only want to use USPS, or you only want to use FedEx. You can select that very easily right there. Now, they also have a tool to help us calculate rates for shipping. So from this address, if we're shipping to, maybe New York or South Carolina, I suppose, it will help us calculate the shipping cost for that on a sample box that weighs almost nothing. And these are going to be the different pricing that it has available for us. Okay. And from here, you can also set up things like local delivery or pick up in store. So you can set that up and you can customize, delivery options all you want inside of here. Okay. You'll also be able to create custom shipping labels inside of Shopify as well. So this is a really great feature. You don't have to go down to the post office and print out a bunch of labels every day when you're shipping products. You can just do that inside of Shopify's dashboard, and you can find a lot of that information right here in the shipping and delivery section. Taxes and duties, we won't talk too much about this, but this is something you should definitely look into. That is understanding what types of tax you are required to charge. So when it comes to taxes, I really would recommend that you talk to an accountant or a CPA, but you can edit all of that inside of here. So understanding whether you're supposed to be collecting taxes from certain countries, it can get pretty complicated, but I would not overlook this. And you do have to collect taxes in a lot of cases for all these various different states when you're selling products. This used to be a loophole back in the day. You didn't have to, and these days you do. But once again, I'm not an accountant, so talk to someone who knows their stuff when it comes to taxes and import duties and all these other things, especially with all the stuff going on with tariffs. Just take some time to understand that. But you're going to manage it inside of this section right here. Okay. All right. So there's really only two other things that we're going to talk about here, which is setting up your domain and then publishing your Shopify store. So we're getting into the fun part. We can go to the domain section right here and we can change our domain. So right now, our Shopify store is a bunch of random letters with .myshopify.com. So we're going to want to change that. And in order to do that, we're going to click on buy new domain, and we're going to see if we can find something for Volser. And here we have Volser.store. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe you want a .com ending, so like VolserApparel.com. Let's see if they have that. So VolserApparel.com is available. So it's going to be $16 per year. I'm going to click on buy, and then you go through the process of purchasing that domain. Let's X out of this. Let's go back to the domain here, down in settings, click on domain. But once you have purchased it, you can then connect that domain and set it as your primary so that when you go to VolserApparel.com, it will show up. So that's what we're going to do there. Now let's publish our store. So in order to publish our store, let's go back to the Shopify admin. I'm going to just click on the upper left here on Shopify and click on online store. So here we can publish our store. And the only thing that's keeping it from being published is actually that it's just password protected. So we just have to remove the password by clicking this here. And now our online store is open to everyone. People can start buying stuff once we set up Shopify payments, and we're live. We're ready to go. And that's it. And it's going to tell us, some data on this of like how many people are coming to our site. It can feel really fun launching your store. So we can go ahead and view it, see how it looks. Obviously, I would have spent a bit more time on this if I was really building this out, but I wanted this to be a tutorial showing you the basics of setting up a Shopify store. So if you want to set up a store as well, don't forget to check out the link in the description below in this video so that you can get that free 3 days and then 3 months for $1 per month. It's a great deal that you can access. So I wish everyone the best of luck. We have lots of videos showing you how to do marketing and how to run your store properly. So feel free to check out those videos, and I'll see everybody sometime in a future video.